My name's Megan Vickers. I'm a physiotherapist and Pilates instructor, and I specialise in anti and postnatal rehabilitation. And this is my Pilates for Pregnancy programme. Welcome to month 7. Now in this month it's very common for women to experience pelvic girdle pain in their pregnancy. So I've put together these exercises which should help you and me from suffering from niggles through the pelvis, either at the front or through the back. So I hope you enjoy the exercises. We're going to start in standing. We do need a little bit of equipment today. So take a ball, a football, a Pilates ball, or a cushion and have it between your knees. And then keep a band handy. We'll be using that in just a moment. The first thing I'm going to do is start by squeezing that ball. So if you have your feet hip width apart, and think about softening your knees and then moving up your body to your pelvis. Hold your pelvis in your hands and imagine in your hand you're holding a bucket of water. Tip your pelvis so you're spilling some water out the front of the bucket and out the back of the bucket, moving through your range of movement. See if it's painful, stiff, easy to move. Just acknowledge that and see if you can move through it. Try and keep the rest of your body as still as possible. And then try and shorten that movement down. So those movements start off big and then they get smaller and smaller and smaller until you find your pelvis neutral. Hold it there, lengthen through your entire spine and smile through your collarbones so you're open through your chest. Bring your hands just down to baby. And the first thing I want you to do is take a big full breath in. Feel your ribs expand east and west. Breathe out. Breathe in again, and your next out breath, I just want you to squeeze the ball. So you breathe out, squeeze the ball between your knees. Can you feel baby just hug gently up and in towards your spine? Release that now. As you breathe out, your pelvic floor moves up and your diaphragm moves up. And those two muscles will help your deep abdominal muscles to activate too. Squeezing the ball between your knees will also enhance that contraction and get some bigger muscles in your tummy coming in as well. Just enough to give you the stability through the front of your pelvis. So we're going to do a few of those. We're going to breathe out. I'm going to breathe out, squeeze the ball between our knees. Hold it here. Breathe in. Breathe out, let it go. Breath in again to set. Breathe out, just squeeze the ball. See if you can feel baby move up and in. And then breathe in and hold. Breathe out, let that go. We're going to do that again, this time adding in a gentle pelvic floor lift. Not our strongest one, just maybe 30 to 50%. So we're going to breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, close the pelvic outlet like an elevator and lift that elevator up just to the first floor. At the same time, squeeze the ball between your knees. Feel baby move up and in towards your spine like you're giving your baby a nice warm hug. Breathe in for 2 breaths this time and hold, and then release it, let go. Breath in. Breath out, close the pelvic floor. At the same time, squeeze the ball between your knees and lift the pelvic floor contraction up, hugging baby up and in towards your spine. Hold it here and breathe 3 breaths this time. So you're building up that endurance, you're creating this wrap of muscle around your middle. And relax that down. We're going to hold it now for a count of 10. So as you breathe out, pelvic floor closes, lift, ball squeeze. Keep your posture, your knees soft, hold it and breathe. So you're keeping those muscles strong through the front of your tummy while still allowing your baby some space. You're closing off your pelvis through the front and the back and you're holding it and breathing. And relaxing that down. Now we're going to start to add in a heel raise. So either with your hands still under baby or down by your side. We're just going to rise up onto our tiptoes. So we're going to breathe out, close the pelvic outlet, squeeze the ball, float up, breathe in, come down. Breathe out, close and lift. Breathe in, come down. Feel that little baby hug come on through the muscles in your tummy. Those muscles which wrap around your body into your spine, connecting with your pelvic floor and your diaphragm. So your whole cylinder of stability is strong. Ball squeeze will work the inner thighs, get some closure around your pubic bone. Now we're going to bring in the arms. So we're going to breathe out, rise up, breathe in, come down. Breathe out, rise up. So we're layering up the challenge for these muscles through the middle. Keep it flowing. So every out breath, That's when you're working. In breath, releasing. Out breath to work. In breath, release. Connecting with those deep muscles of your pelvic floor and lower tummy. Giving that ball a nice big squeeze. Just give me 4 more. Two before we hold. And we're going to hold it up. Hold it here on your toes. Hold it and breathe. Just see if you can work on your balance. Maintain that gentle pelvic floor lift, that ball squeeze. Just creating that strength through the middle. Another 10 seconds for me. 9, breathe. Grow through the top of your head. Smile through your collarbones. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax it down. We're going to take this into a couple of squats. So make sure you've got a little bit of space behind you. When you come into a squat with narrow legs, bump's going to restrict your movement now. So the first thing what you should do is just bring the weight into the middle of your feet. And think of the middle of your foot somewhere between your big toe joint and your heel. So you spread weight evenly across your big toe joint, your little toe joint and your heel. Not all in your toes. And the first thing you're going to do is reach your hands forwards, sit your bottom back behind you, make sure the weight stays there. You don't have to go too deep, okay? Now here's where we're going to start to work. My tailbone's out, my back is flat. I'm going to breathe out, close the pelvic floor, squeeze the ball and lift up all at the same time. Breathe in, come down. Breathe out, close that pelvic floor, squeeze the ball and lift up. Breathe in, come down. Breathe out, work on that lift. Okay, so you're encouraging your whole body to draw up through the midline, create strength all the way through the pelvic floor, all the way through the deep core and spine, all the way up to your diaphragm. Feel that inner thigh working, thighs working, and with that bottom out you'll feel your bottom getting strong too. Okay, we're going to create some movement through the whole body. We're going to add in a little twist. So this time when you sit down, right arm comes behind you, but keep looking forward so you don't rotate too much. And then squeeze and lift up. Left arm comes behind you. Squeeze and lift up. Right arm. Left arm. So you're just getting that chest open on the side, that's stretching back. Some movement through that upper back. Starts to get very tight towards the end of our pregnancy. We lose that mobility through our whole body. Baby's starting to feel heavy now. Posture's changing. We're just going to keep ourselves as strong as possible. Give me 4. And last one. Out breath, coming up and relaxing those arms down. Now we're going to bring in the arms. We've got a good bit of arm work today. So when we're doing our arms in standing, we want the legs still working a little bit too. That keeps the blood pumping around our body, prevents any swelling, and makes sure that enough blood is still pumping around to the uterus as well. So bring the weight to the middle of the feet, grow tall through the top of your head, open through your collarbones. Let's see what happens automatically. Relax into baby, breathe in, elbows at your side. Breathe out, squeeze the ball, pull the band open. Breathe in and release. Breathe out, squeeze the ball and open. Breathe in, release. So I definitely can feel baby move up and in. I can feel those muscles around my tummy wrap around and come on. If you're not sure whether that's happening, just encourage it a little bit with the pelvic floor close and lift as you go. So you're just making that contraction work a little bit more. Make sure we're going to keep moving through those legs. We're going to add in a small calf raise as we go. Just enough to fire up into those calves. So a little calf raise and release. Squeeze the ball, pull the band. They're your two main things. That little calf raise and release. Keeping that body as upright as possible. That baby hug. Final 3, 2, and 1. That movement through the arms becomes a little bit bigger now. So reach forwards, roll those shoulders back into place. Right arm only and just a slight left heel, still squeezing that ball if you can. Breathe out, squeeze that ball, breathe in, release. Opposite. So you're just squeezing that ball as it rolls across one knee to the next. That effort on the band is going to give you that baby hug. If you need to work a little bit harder, close and lift through your pelvic floor. Now double, raising up. 12 to go. Keep that baby hug on, rising up onto your foot, the front of your foot, keeping those arms pulling so you're strong through that upper body. That resistance giving you extra tension through the middle. Three, two, and one. Really good. Okay, so you can put your band off to one side. We're going to keep the ball for the next exercise, which is going to be on our hands and knees. So, moving down onto your mat, just take your time. Start at one end of your mat and slowly roll down. So bring your chin into your chest, your hands onto your thighs and round your body. Starting at the top of the back, middle of the back, and then the lower back. With your head and your arms hanging, just take your time, breathe into it, and then walk forwards. We're all going to work on our hamstrings. So the back of the thigh, those muscles come up behind the knee and attach into the base of the pelvis. And those two muscles, left and right, really help to give you closure of your pelvis. And this is a time where our pelvis is opening, and that can lead to pain if we don't keep these muscles like these really strong. So we're going to give these a really good go now. Okay, so on your hands and knees, your hands are underneath your shoulders, your chest is lifted. You want to just look down at a place in between your two hands. You want to try and create a flat back, so not a dip, not a rounded, more of a flat back posture. And with that ball behind the knee, I'm just going to start with some little squeezes, warming up my hamstring. As I breathe out, I'm going to close and lift pelvic floor, and I'm going to pull my foot in and squeeze that ball. Breathe in and release my pelvic floor, release that ball, squeeze. Breathe out, squeeze that in. Breathe in, release. Think about the pelvic outlet, like elevator doors closing. Pull those walls of the pelvic floor together, and then try and lift that elevator up just to one floor. So you're getting the muscles on the outside and the deep muscles of the pelvic floor working too. Getting that hamstring going through the back of the leg, creating that forced closure through the pelvic girdle. Give me 3 more. 2. Final 1. Bro, hold it here. You want that ball nice and squeezed. Just bring your weight a little bit forwards. Engage through the centre by lifting the pelvic floor. Now see if you can get that knee up off the ground. Just a small way if you have pain through the front of your pelvis, or a little bit further if you can. And then it comes down to brush the floor, but not release. Draw it in. Squeeze that ball. Lift the leg up. Just see how far you can move the leg. None of these exercises should be painful. Breathe in as the leg comes in, draw it into your tummy. Breathe out as the leg comes up, extending through the bottom. Keep that ball as squeezed as possible, even though the back of the leg might feel it might cramp any moment. We're working on that inner range strength. 4 to go, keep that chest lifted. And 1. And down. The ball now is going to move from the back of the knee in between the 2 heels. I'm going to open my knees up just a touch and bring my hands just 1 hand's length forwards. I'm going to tuck my tailbone, and as I do that, just transfer my weight a little bit over my hands. So my hands are still directly under my shoulders. That's not only strengthening the whole shoulder girdle and upper body, but you should feel those low tummy muscles engage a little bit more as you just lift baby up and in with those muscles. Okay, when you look down, your tummy should be drawing in. No triangle shape where we're pushing the muscles down and out. So a gentle transfer forwards. We're going to squeeze the ball between our heels, and we're just going to do a little hamstring curl towards our bottom. Try and pull that ball all the way in on your out breath. Release it down on your in breath. This baby hug, those muscles around your tummy are on the whole time. They're set up in this position. As you've transferred your weight forwards, all of those muscles will be working. And then you're layering up, you're adding in your hamstring work. Hopefully, like me, you're starting to feel your upper body get nice and strong too. Keep squeezing that ball. It's easy to forget about that. That's a real good bit where you're going to get your inner thigh, which is an important component, and help your hamstrings out to give you that pelvic closure. Okay, we're going to do 10 more. Really squeezing, really thinking about that curl. Your long breath out to come up. Extended breath in to come down. So you just keep it flowing, no rest in between them unless you really need it. So you just keep that movement, you're building up the endurance in those muscles. All this time with these muscles under tension is going to really help with their postural strength there, their long-term strength. Three more. 2 and 1. And come back. So we're going to take the ball now behind the left knee and the hands back underneath the shoulders. So you're in that flat back position. So with the ball behind the knee, we're just going to start with those faster pelvic floor contractions. So breathing out, close and lift pelvic floor, breathe in, release. Breathe out, close and lift pelvic floor, breathe in, release. You can try isolating the different parts of the pelvic floor with this. Think about the muscles around the back passage near the tailbone, and then release. Then the muscles in the centre around the vaginal canal, and then release. And the muscles at the front around the pubic bone, around the urethra up to the bladder. See if you can feel all three components of that one big muscle. Give me 3. And holding that last one. Holding that last one, squeezing the ball, bringing the weight slightly forwards. We're going to lift that leg up behind us, a small movement or a full movement if you can. You're guided by any pain. No discomfort through the front as you do this one. Drawing up and in to that pelvic floor, giving your baby a nice big hug in towards your spine. Five to go. Try and even that weight out so it's spread evenly across both hands, so you're not shifting all the way to one side. 2. And let's do one more. And release down. Okay, now we're going to take the ball this time. We're going to come up into high kneeling. I'm going to work it, hold the ball between your inner thighs, and we're going to work on the muscles more down through the front. So I've got a band tied up here. It's tied around the leg of a very strong chair that I know I'm not going to be able to pull over. You can tie it around a door handle too. Make sure you can lock the door so you're not going to suddenly pull the door open. So we're going to pick up the ends of our bands. And we're going to hold them tightly in each hand. So when you are starting this position, when you squeeze that ball, you feel your bottom come on and your tailbone come under. Try not to exaggerate that, but just be aware of that. Feel all of those muscles around the pelvic girdle working. That's enough just with that squeeze. And then as we breathe out, we're lengthening up. We're going to breathe out. We're just going to do a little pull of the band. Now I know I can feel my muscles coming on there, that I don't have to give it a really good pull. Breathe in and release. My strongest pull will probably be too strong for my tummy muscles. So there I can feel all of my muscles working across my tummy. My tummy feels like it's moving up and in with every pull. And you want to try and recreate that. So the tension in your band is just enough so you start to feel your muscles in your tummy come on automatically. We're not looking for the strongest muscles ever during our pregnancy. Just maintaining their work, so you're maintaining some tone through those muscles. And that can help us to prevent separation of the muscles and help our recovery after we've had baby as well. Every time I pull, I'm squeezing that ball between my knees a little bit more. So I'm getting my inner thigh working, which is attaching to my pubic bone. My pelvic floor is attaching to my pubic bone, and my tummy muscles are attaching to my pubic bone. So that whole area, all through the front, is really getting strong. That's places under a lot of pressure, supporting the whole growing weight of your baby. And up to a third of women will get pelvic girdle pain at around this time, and pain through the front is particularly common. Okay, one more before we change. Okay, now this time the arm's going to come a little bit higher. We're going to squeeze behind us. Just be sure that you don't overextend here. So you want to keep your upright posture. So that if I was videoing you from the side, I shouldn't be able to tell you're moving your arms because your spine stays perfectly still. We're squeezing that ball, closing and lifting our pelvic floor with every one. Exhale to pull, inhale to release. Four to go. Squeezing that ball, lengthening that out breath. Last one. And the final exercise here, adding in a rotation. So those arms up in front, make sure it doesn't pull your shoulders forwards. A gentle rotation round to one side as you pull on that band, and then in breath, release it. So your effort as always is on your out breath, in breath to return. So these muscles go across our tummy, connecting with the opposite inner thigh. So here we're working like a crisscross, all the way through the middle. You can imagine how that's going to keep that strength across the tummy, across that midline section, which is on its biggest stretch. Do 4 final ones. And release. Okay, our next group of exercises are lying on our side. I've just got another band here, save untying that one. So when you're moving onto your side, just be careful, make sure you go with your legs together. And we're going to tie the band just around above our knees. Okay, so I've got my legs together, I've tied that up, so as I start to pull on the band I can feel the resistance straight away. I'm going to take the ball as well. So I'm going to move with my legs together, and I'm going to lie on my side with one cushion underneath my head and the ball between my heels and a baby's foot pressing into the mat. Okay, so bring my arm around the cushion. Bring your legs back behind you so you can only just see your knees. We don't want them all the way up in front of us. So here, the movement doesn't have to be huge. The bigger the movement, the more likely it is if you are getting pelvic girdle pain that might become sore. So the band and the ball make the movement smaller, but it's really effective. So you're going to lift your bottom waist, so the top waist goes down towards your feet. You can just feel that little bit of space come in here, and your shoulder down. And then you're going to squeeze the ball between your heels and just open up your knee just a little way. You'll feel that straight away because of the band. Breathe in and close. So you're going to breathe out and open. Breathe in and close. So the muscles that should be working, it's kind of like a little, what I call the bra of the bottom. This little muscle underneath the bum cheek, which kind of helps to lift the bottom up. But it also comes all the way around, so it comes from here all the way underneath the bum cheek, round to the back of the hip. Front of the thigh should be really relaxed. It's more like a horseshoe shape round the back. Trying to keep that waist lifted, which is becoming a real challenge as our baby grows, and that spine as straight as possible. 2 more before we hold. Holding the next one. Now you're going to squeeze your heels together, that top heel driving down towards the bottom heel. So you're getting that extra effort, feeling that fatigue build in the bottom. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, release. Now we're going to do the same thing 2 more times. The second time with our feet lifted up off the floor, our waist is lifted. You're going to squeeze the ball, it's a bit more challenging, and open the knee. Now both feet have to squeeze together, so getting both bum bras working together. Give your bottom a nice lift, but also just close those joints at the back of your pelvis. Give you that stability, support those ligaments which are under a lot of pressure. Three to go before we pulse. 2. And hold it open if you can. Squeeze your heels together. So getting this on, off, and extra work with every squeeze, trying to keep the knees open. Give me 5, breathe out, squeeze. 3, 2, 1, release. Last position. I'm going to bring those legs right up in front of you. So you want, ideally, 90 degrees at your hips and at your knees. You squeeze the ball between your heels and you open that top leg, and then breathe in, come down. It's much harder to create your waist here now, but still try and work those muscles through here to keep your waist lifted. Your neck is long, so you're lying against a wall. The back of your head and your bottom should both be touching that imaginary wall. 3, 2, holding the next one for our squeezes. Squeeze that ball. Really starting to feel it in here now. 3, 2, 1, and release. Just move that ball up towards your knees. Have it between your knees so that you just keep a bit of space there. Doesn't compress your pubic bone then. And just give me a gentle arm opening stretch that we're going to hold. So that top arm comes forwards, and then you bring it up to the sky. And then when you're pointing straight up at the sky, I'm just going to get you to bend your elbow behind you. And as you bend that elbow, let your head come back as well. So you're still looking out across that arm. And you should feel this nice stretch across your chest. Really good rotation through your mid-back. It's great to keep those shoulders open. Stop any rounded shoulder posture. If your shoulders become rounded, you're going to end up rounding your low back and put a lot more strain through your low back. Give me 2 more breaths. And close. We're going to move straight into the opposite side. So again, if you can, with your legs together. So I'm going to take the ball away. Keeping my legs together. I'm going to bring them forwards and transition to the opposite side. Ball goes back to my heels and the legs back behind me, so they're just in front of my hips. Waist is lifted, neck is long, my spine should be pretty much straight. And then breathe out, squeeze the ball and open up the top knee. Breathe in and close. Breathe out, open, breathe in and close. Feeling that straight into the bottom. One more before we squeeze. Hold it here. Squeeze that ball. Squeeze that ball. So that top heel for this one, really driving down into that bottom heel. Squeezing that ball, getting that effort all the way through the deep bottom. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we're going to lift both feet up off the floor, keeping our waist up, knees start closed, and then we're going to open. You're going to breathe in and you're going to come down. So we're working on 10 of each, so that ends up with 30 open and closed and 30 pulses, so 60 in total. Now we need to go at that high number because we're asking this muscle to work over a long period of time, not just do 3 or 4 of these, but working it again and again, reminding it that when we're out on a long walk, every step these muscles need to be strong and active when we're on one leg. 3, 2, hold this one, this is the hardest one, squeeze those heels together, not to drop those heels. And last one, and lower down, well done. Bring your legs up in front of you now, so you've got that 90-degree bend at your hip and knees, still trying to keep your waist up. So then again, squeezing that ball between your heels and opening that top leg. Bringing your legs up into this higher position will get your bigger glute max coming on. It's a big muscle in your bottom which crosses your sacroiliac joint at the back. Four more before we hold. And last one, holding open and squeezing the heels together. And 10, and relaxing down, well done. Okay, now last final stretch. We're going to move that ball in between our knees, just to keep our knees open so we don't get any compression through the pubic bone. And with that, those arms out in front of you for arm opening, you're going to reach your top palm forwards. You're going to take it up towards the sky, allow your head to roll with it, so there's no tension in your neck. And then bend your elbow out behind you, looking out across that hand. Breathe into that stretch and hold it here. So you're nice and relaxed. You're not having to hold your head back there, just breathing into it. Such a lovely stretch for after you've had your baby. With all the carrying and lifting and feeding you're going to be doing, it's very common to get quite tight in your chest and start to feel lots of neck pain. So this is a lovely one to keep your chest open. Maintain your movement. 2 more breaths. And 1. Okay, well done guys. We're going to push up into sitting. And we're going to take the band away. And we're going to finish with a very gentle bottom stretch. So on hands and knees, I'm going to take my right foot and I'm going to cross it over my left heel. And I'm just going to push my hips out towards the left, scoot them back around towards the right and back in. Now I'm going to go out to the right, so push my bottom out to the right, scoop it down, feeling that deep into my seat, take it off as I come back around. Back to the left, so I come around off the stretch and then into the stretch. And up, and again, out, down, and out. Okay, I'm going to change sides. So, left foot comes over my right heel, and I'm going to go away from the stretch and then pushing my hips out into the stretch, feeling that in the seat of my bottom. And the opposite way, hips out to the left and back, down and around. So we're not holding that stretch, we've just worked really hard to put the tightness or work into those muscles. We don't want to stretch them out too much. And keep a little bit of that tension we've created. Brilliant work. Well done everybody. That's your programme for this month, and I hope you join me next month for month 8 of our Pilates for Pregnancy programme. See you then.